What is philosophy, you might wonder? Well, in this set of video lectures, I'm going to address this question, try to give you some context for understanding what philosophy is by doing three things. One, talking about the etymological roots of the word philosophy. That is, where does the word come from originally? And then from there, I'll talk about the history of the way that the word has been used and the field that has developed around or that is signified by that word, bringing us up to the contemporary moment and the meaning of the word in the contemporary moment, where we have philosophy departments, for instance. We have sections of libraries and bookstores devoted to philosophy, and so on. So want to say eventually, by the time we sort of get to that point in the narrative, what philosophy is or means today. And I'll just note briefly that the answer to this question is somewhat controversial. People argue about what philosophy itself is and what it should be thought to be, just like they argue about what science is and what it should be thought to be, or what art is and what it should be thought to be. So it's not a question that has a universally accepted answer. There are debates even among professionals, people who should, if anyone has expertise about the answer, these individuals should have expertise about it, and sometimes even they disagree about what it is. But I'm going to try to give you, again, some context, background, and information to help you get your bearings with what this thing generally is, and what it has been through its history, and what it is generally taken to be today. Starting with the etymological roots. This word philosophy that we have comes from the ancient Greek. In ancient Greek, there was a word philosophia, was used from 600 years BC, or before the Common Era. And it's composed of two words. Philo, which means love in the sense of brotherly love, not in the sense of eros or erotic love, but in the sense of brotherly or familial love or friendly love. And Sophia, which means wisdom. So just based on the roots of the word, philosophy is the love of wisdom, and a philosopher is a lover of wisdom. Now, just looking at this definition may raise some questions for you. You might wonder, well, what's meant by wisdom? What is wisdom? And if you think about what the word wisdom means today, what kinds of things we associate with wisdom, we might note that in some ways it could be thought of as a kind of knowledge. A person who's wise is a person who is knowledgeable, but knowledgeable in a specific way. They're not necessarily knowledgeable about everything. There's a particular kind of knowledge that is associated with wisdom. And at the same time, it may be that there are aspects of wisdom that don't really have to do with knowledge. They have to do with other things, like, for instance, how a person lives. So that's an interesting question. What exactly is wisdom? How should we understand what this thing is that partly defines philosophy? The love of this thing is what defines philosophy in terms of the ancient Greek definition. So we might wonder, well, what is that thing? And we might also wonder, what really is it to love this thing? Notice that the word doesn't say possessor of wisdom or wise person. It's something more like pursuer of wisdom, or person who desires wisdom. A lover of wisdom would be someone who desires it, not necessarily one who has it. And so this is not the field of wisdom itself, but rather the field of the pursuit of wisdom, or the desire for wisdom.